In this video I'm going to show you some more widgets, but this time I'm going to show you the compositions that are available. So to get to those you need to go to the Widgets Library panel, which sits over here on the right hand side of the screen. So I'm just going to click on that, and then I'm looking at this folder here of widgets called compositions. So we'll have a look at a few of the widgets that are available to us in here. So the first one that we're going to start with is the featured news. So I'm just going to drag that on, and then you can have a look at what it's going to look like. As with most widgets, just close down the widget library there. As with most widgets, you get this blue play button that allows you to control some of the features that are within the widget, so that we can see what kind of effects that we can change. We might come back to some of these in a moment, but first of all let's just have a look at how this widget works. So I haven't done anything to it yet, I've just dragged one onto the screen, but let's have a look and see what it does. So Command Shift E or Control Shift E to preview in a browser. And then what you can see is that the way this is presented is you get these different dialog boxes here. As you put your mouse over these, then you get this article relating to this particular topic change, and in this case it's some text and an image. So that's a really nice effect that we've got here going on. So if we just go back to the widget now and have a look at how we can play with this, it shows the target, which is this area here when you put your mouse over on rollover. You could change that to click. So people would then have to click these buttons for this content to appear, rather than for it to be just on a simple rollover. You can change the transition effect, or you can have it coming in so it slides in, or so that you have it vertically sliding in the information as it appears. You could set it to auto play, in other words it would just loop through these and go through those, but we're just going to stick with the current content as it's got it. So a really nice way that you can have it. At the moment we've got the information stacked, but you could have it also as a scattered effect. So let's just have a look at what that does, and we'll leave it to on click as well. So Command Shift and E or Control Shift and E to preview in a browser, and this time when we click you can see that the effect occurs once it's clicked. So let's go back to our play button and have a little look again. So yeah, we've got it stacked rather than scattered, and again with the on click you can see the difference between that and the mouse over effect. Now how do you change the content in here to be your content? Well, you simply just click on it. So you can click on this image, for example, you can right mouse click and replace the image. So when you replace the image you can put in your own image, and inside goes my own image, and of course I can edit this text using the text tool. With these as well you can go to each one of these, and as you activate each one you see the content that's available for it, so you can edit each one, and of course you can add new ones as well. So if you wanted more than 3 you just click the little plus symbol here and it allows you to add in a 4th topic, and then you can type in the content for that and then add in here the target area how you want things to be. You can also copy features across from one to the other, so when you do create a new one you can just copy it across into this. So that's a nice sort of news feed widget, really nice effect to have in your pages. So I'm just going to select that and then delete it and show you another widget from this compositions. So this time I'm going to show you a tooltip widget. So this is really quite a nice one, so I'm just going to drag this on again and we'll have a look straight away how this works. So we're not going to do anything at the moment, we'll just have a quick preview and see what happens. So Control Shift and E to preview, and what happens with this one is that you just get these 3 little icons here, and as you put your mouse over them, okay, then you get a rollover effect on them, and also you get this sort of information box appear as you put your mouse over these. So how can this be used? Well, if we come in here, what we can do is we can change this. Instead of having just these grey circles, we can change them and add in something different. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to drag it out and make it a bit bigger. And you can see it's got rounded corners. This has all been set up here in the top box up here, these rounded corners with a 10 pixel border radius, and at the moment it's got a fill of grey, but I could change that fill and say rather than it being a fill I want it to be an image. So I could add in an image. So I've just added in an image of the minions. I just need to get it to scale to fill and put it in the center, and you can see the effect that we've got there. Okay, and then of course you can come in here and you can change this content just by clicking on it and drilling down until you get to the element that you actually want to change. So you can do that for each of these and add these images. And what's really nice about these is if we go to the states panel window is that you actually have different states here. So if I go to the normal state, so this is just like a button. So in other words, when you hover over it, you can have a change in the appearance of this button. So under the normal state, it's going to be this light grey. So I'm going to go and change that again and put it back to my minion image. So there it is there, and we had it to, just wait for it to catch up with us. But we just had it go to scale to fill, and then we also put it so it was in the middle. And you can see now that we've got the effect here that it's the same on all of them. So under the normal state, I actually want it to be, say, 50% opacity. So I want it to be sort of a bit sort of faded in terms of the image. And on the rollover effect, so if I activate the rollover state, it's still at 50%, but I'm going to put that back up to 100. Mouse down, yet 100, and active, I'd like to put up to 100 as well. So now let's have a look at how this effect works. So if I do a Command-Shift-E and preview in a browser, you'll see there's our image. It's at 50% opacity in the idle view, normal view, and when we hover over, it becomes 100%, and up pops our tooltip, so our message. So that's a nice effect you could do there. Obviously you would change it for all the others as well. You'd add your images and make them your size, and then obviously edit the content that appears within the tooltip. Just one other thing to show you as well is that when we select this, go back to our blue play button here, they're currently scattered, which means that those tooltips appear randomly around the outside of these three buttons, but you could have that as stacked. And now when you go and preview in a browser, so Control Command Shift E, they will always appear above each other like that. So it's a really nice little widget to have on your pages. Okay, we're going to just remove that one. Let's go back to our widgets library, let's go back to compositions, and the last one that we're going to look at is the presentation. So I'm just going to drag the presentation out on here, and again, before we do anything with this presentation, let's do a Command Shift and E and just preview and see what happens. So when you do a Command Shift and E, the idea with this is that you click and you have this slide effect. It's a bit like a slideshow in a way, so it's very similar to that. So how can you control this? Well, you can come to each of these thumbnails, you can select the image, you can right mouse click and replace the image. That's the easiest way of replacing the image. Just do replace image and pick up one of your own ones, and one of your own images will go in. You can also go in and fitting, and you could play with the fitting if you felt that you wanted to change the way it looked. Come in here, play with the text. You can come in and you can change colours as well. So at the moment we've got the fill here set to dark grey, but you could change that. And of course you can add in more buttons and more of these panel windows. Come to the play button, you can see that we've got it going on click, but you could change that to on rollover. And of course you've got your usual kind of features that you can change and switch on and off should you wish to add more kind of extra content on here, such as previous and next. So that's looking at some of the features that are available under compositions. It's really about just putting them on the page and then having a play with the properties and the settings that they've got.